I'm back. Oh, are we starting now? Now
You
that
like
I
the way I waited?
oatmeal?
Yeah, I waited till you had an entire mouthful of oatmeal to start the podcast.
I'm hungry.
So, Kate, let's get right to it.
What's up, Becca?
Oh, okay, cool.
There.
Yeah, take
All
two.
right.
It was way
Back to
better
my
than
oatmeal.
take one.
Thanks.
Would it be funnier if you tried to do it with the mouthful of oatmeal and the oatmeal had come out like all over your camera?
That would have been gross. Hilarious.
We should try to start the podcast in a gross and scary way every Monday for the entire month of October.
Agreed.
Or maybe we should just try to start the podcast every Monday for the entire month of October. Since we kept being inconsistent there in August and September, we just kept like hit or miss. Oh, it's so good to see you. It sounds like you had a crappy night. Just tell me, did you have your shit together this week? And what the heck happened last night?
I had a hard time with my shit this week, but I rallied, and last night was something. So I had a client that left late. Yeah. And Isaac is working, my 18-year-old. And so my 11-year-old, Sam, decided that while I gave that last massage, he was going to sit out in the backyard and play on his phone to be in the sunshine because he liked the way the sun was dappling through the leaves.
I love him. What a little old man.
I just love him so much. He's so elderly. And he just, I'm like, okay, buddy. He's like, and I'm going to get a blanket to keep my toes cozy. And I think a cat will keep me company. I'm like, that sounds like a plan, pal.
He is
I support
just modern day male Green Gables.
Yes, he is. So he comes by it honestly. So
in those moments, yeah.
Yeah, in those moments. He vacillates between Anne of Green Gables and
yes, because he's not as outgoing, but he's got the whole joie de vivre of dappled sunlight and cats and blankets.
Right. Well, he's like really outgoing with not his peers.
Right. Absolutely.
Right.
Very outgoing adult.
It's when it comes to his peers that he's like, ugh, you're not at my level. Like, okay, bud, let's reel that in a little. Anyways, so he was out there. I didn't finish the massage till 6:30. Got rid of my client by my client left by 6:40 or something. And I was tired. I had work that day. I was like, do you want to go out and get something to eat, just me and you? Because Isaac's not here. He was like, yeah, I want sushi from Kroger. Great.
Oh, Kroger, and historically known for their great sushi.
They're known throughout the land for their excellent sushi. So
this podcast is sponsored by Kroger, your number one sushi supplier. Type in shitty sushi code shitty sushi for 20% off sushi at Kroger.
Which is funny because we have like the closest place to get sushi is Sushi Bros, which is like a block away, but they're and it's fresh, but they're also really pricey. So we got in the car and we got all the way to Kroger, and it was the wrong Kroger. They didn't have a sushi thing. So I'm like, okay, it's 7:15 by now. So like we get back in the car. We're on our way to the other Kroger, which is equidistant to our house from this one. So if we just picked the right one, we would be eating food by now. But whatever. So it's like 7:30. The night is falling, and we're on these Waze has decided to take me weird back roads through neighborhoods that I actually know. I just haven't been in for a while. And we finally get on like this main street, and we're like half a mile from Kroger. We're at a stoplight, and all of a sudden, somebody, a sleepy teenager, was not slammed into the car behind us, just like full force. Like, I guess did she see the light that was red? Did she see the car? I don't know.
I bet she slammed into her camera screen as she was live TikToking or whatever they do, or maybe she was responding to a comment or something.
I don't
I
know.
mean, I hate to presume, but if I slammed into someone full force and I wasn't asleep or drunk, it would be because I was looking at my phone.
I
That's my guess.
All I know is that she felt really bad and she looked really tired. She'd been at work since 7
Okay,
and it
okay.
was like 12 hours later. So I'm going to say tired, tired
Mhm.
teenager. So she slammed into the car that was behind us and pushed that car so that it bumped into us.
Oh, that's a pain in the ass for insurance, at least in Maryland and DC.
Yeah. So we were just the last domino. We weren't like,
Mhm.
we didn't get the full force of it. We just got like bonk and we were like, ah, I'm like,
The
Sammy.
good thing is you were at a red light, so no one's going to call you and say, "Why did you stop?" Like when I had an accident like that.
Right. Right. And
And it
so,
was like,
yeah.
well,
So
295 in the morning, rush hour commute when there's snow, when ice and rain and sleet on the ground.
mhm.
Why did I stop? Because the other car stopped. And I stopped very slowly because I was leaving lots of distance because there was snow and ice and rain on the ground.
Like
That's
a
why I stopped.
sensible
But we can keep talking about
person.
it. Yeah. But you have an even more sensible one. You'll shut him down with one
Yeah.
question.
It
The
was a
light was
red
red, and
light.
I've been stopped at it for a while, probably.
Yeah, we'd been sitting there and we are like sushi, sushi, sushi. And like,
And then you probably heard crash before you felt the second crash, right? Like, so you,
right.
oh, and there's nothing you can do.
We heard like whoomp, and then we got
Did
bumped.
you take your foot off the
And like
brake?
after I got
No,
bumped,
no, when you heard the first crash.
I don't remember.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I was at the stoplight, and what what delights me is my first. I'm like, Sammy, are you okay? And he's like, well, now I lost my place and I have to start all over because he was giving me. He just started Spanish class, so he was in the middle of a dissertation on all of the capitals of all the Spanish speaking countries in the world, and I think he was on like the Bolivia, maybe I don't
Oh my
remember, but
God.
like no, Uruguay. And so he was like, "Well, I'm never going to say the capital of Uruguay again after that." And I'm like, "Well, what was it?" So he told me. I'm like, "Do you want to start over, or do you want to go back to chanting sushi? Are you okay? We have to sit here for a minute, wait for the police." He's like, I'm gonna play on. I'm gonna read my book. I'm like, okay. But we're like sitting there for 15 minutes and no cops came, and I'm like, I'm hungry. I'd already gotten out of the car. My car is, as far as I can tell, undamaged. My car's a little trashy because I don't have a bumper cover because somebody else rear-ended me like almost a
What's a
year
bumper
ago.
cover?
And well, like it's the plastic part that makes it look nice that's over the metal
Oh,
that's your
okay.
actual
Okay.
bumper.
Gotcha. Hmm.
Yeah. So when I got rear-ended that time,
Oh my.
she bonked me hard enough to pop the bumper cover
Hmm.
off. And that's it. And I never got it put back on because at the time that I got the insurance money, I was like, feed my children, pay bills. Woo! So my car's a little trashy, but it's still safe, because I still have a bumper. It's just not
Right.
pretty,
Right. Yeah.
and you have to like watch your pants as you go past that part of the car so you don't tear. So I've torn my pants a little bit because it's a little
I
scratchy.
can't believe your
Anyway,
car tries to rip
my
your
car
pants
was.
off when you walk by. What a thirsty bitch.
I know she is a thirsty bitch. She's like, girl, you need to be wearing shorts. So, so like my car is unbothered. The front of his car actually looked okay, but I gave him my card. Poor young
Uh-huh.
man. He's like, I'm so sorry this happened. I'm so sorry. I'm like, dude, you're in the mid. You're like the sandwich in
Yeah.
the accident.
Yeah.
You're fine. He's like, oh, and you have a kid in the car, and I'm like, you're okay. He's fine. He's upset that his dissertation got interrupted. Okay, he's not traumatized. Like the teenager got out and she's being sorry. She's like, oh my god, there was a child. I'm like, let's all take a deep breath. It's fine. We're gonna go get sushi. Here's my info. Ta ta.
Nice.
And so like,
Nice.
peace be with you all. So we got our sushi. We got home. We put on Disney Channel's Supernatural, narrated by Benedict Cumberbatch, because when we don't have a cartoon to watch, it's Science Channel for us.
Nice. Nice.
It was cool. We learned a lot. And
And
But like our whole schedule was thrown off, and so everything was super late. And while I was wrangling Sammy to get into the freaking shower an hour late, he's finally in the shower, and I hear this like urgent knocking, and I'm like,
do you think they teach cops how to knock like that?
because I was like concerned. I'm like, who the f is at my door? And so like
Day
I'm not
one of
answering the
cop
door.
school, Black lives don't matter. Day 2 of cop school, learn how to knock on doors. sorry to get political there.
You're going to
I
be
never get
very,
political.
very tempted.
Like me.
You're going to be very tempted to pick that back up again in a second.
Okay.
Hold
Okay.
on. So like,
Hey.
I'm not going to open the door. I come around to the window to peek to make sure. And I'm like, oh, it's a police officer. Okay. You know, and he's like, Officer White, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yes, you are. So like, I answered the door. I didn't say that to his face yet, but I opened the door and like the first thing I see on his name tag is AF White. And I'm like,
White AF.
because he really is. And I'm like, keep it together, Kate. Keep it together, Kate. Don't harass this poor young man.
How is it that often life is funnier than sitcoms?
Oh my God. And it got even funnier. He just wanted to see like my tag. So I took him to the garage and he got my tag, and I lost my self-control. And I was like, I bet you get no end of shit. I bet you never get any shit about your name. He's like, thank you for noticing. The only person who's ever said anything was a guy I had in the back of my car. Like, that guy figured he had nothing to lose anyway, right? He's like, he was really pretty nice about it, but all my paperwork says white as F. And I'm like, because you are, you know, it just like he was the whitest whitey white dude, and like, pale skin, brown hair, mustache, big white dude. I'm like, and then,
and then I saw day three of cop school, how to grow your cop mustache.
Right? It was the perfect cop mustache. It was, anyways. So then I noticed his body cam, because I'd never seen one before. I'm like, oh, your body cam, it's attached to your, and like my brain was on Dungeons and Dragons because of the night before, I guess. I couldn't remember like the word for bulletproof vest or body armor or whatever. I said your breastplate.
That's adorable. Oh my God.
Right. And I was like, I'm sorry, my brain's on D&D. He's like, oh, I'm actually a DM myself, a dungeon master myself. And I was like,
oh my gosh.
He's like, yeah, I run a campaign and it's all cops. And like, I'm really getting ticked at one of the players because he's being such a murder hobo. And I'm like, that must be really disappointing. And I think I deserve accolades for not going anywhere with that at all.
Yeah, I'm very proud of you. That was a very wise choice. Do you have a date with the stuff now?
No, he's a baby. But like,
that's
but
never
I was like,
stopped you before.
It has deterred me.
You're right. It absolutely has stopped you. I'm very sorry. I shouldn't have said that.
I have self-control when they are under the age limit of 25. Okay.
There was like Parks and Rec when Andy decides whether or not he's gonna date April. Somebody gives him a formula for it. It's like half your age plus 7.
I've heard that before.
I think if they're younger than that. Yeah.
I figure if their prefrontal cortex is not yet fully formed, don't.
Yeah. So
maybe.
Half of my okay, so
until my hormones can calm down enough for my brain to kick in, then I'm like, oh yeah, that's not a good idea. Calm down, hormones.
I think this is flawed, because for me it would be 30 and above, and 30 is way too young for me.
It really depends on the person for me.
30 is only 4 years younger than my oldest child. That doesn't do it for me. I have enough children. I don't need another one.
It really depends on the person, and it depends on what I want from the person, I guess.
So do you like how we ended up talking about
but I'm single.
Do you enjoy how we're talking about my dating life, even though you're trying to tell me about your car accident?
My story's all done anyway, and I've got oatmeal, so like.
Okay, so it all ended well with Officer White AF.
Yeah,
cool.
Mm-hmm. It ended well with him. I did like say, if you ever need somebody else in your campaign, oh, never mind, it's all cops. And like that, but like we laugh. It's fine. I clearly would not fit in. It's fine.
Kate, you fit in everywhere.
Everywhere I
You
want to
force
fit in.
yourself in. You're just like, here comes the square peg. Get that round hole ready because I'm gonna jam myself in. It's the best thing about you.
And Jello.
Yes.
There's always room for Jello.
Oh, what a great motto. Instead of like the night is
Another
dark,
self-identifier for me.
or instead of a Lannister always pays their debts, it's we are Jello. There's always room for us.
There's always room for Jello. Well, it's less of a mouthful than saying, you know, I'm a stack of golden retriever puppies stuffed inside a trench coat. So
nice.
because
So
I am also that as well.
The way that last night went.
Like weird but complicated. Yes. Weird but complicated. It was good though. It was good. It's just weird but complicated, you know?
Gotcha.
Yeah, because I had a celebration of life ceremony to go to on Saturday, and then I massaged the friends slash clients that I know in connection to that on Monday. So that was, you know, it was
emotionally wrought.
It was wild. It was emotionally wrought, but like in a good
but
way.
It probably still took up a lot of energy.
Took a lot of emotional energy. It took a lot of emotional energy. And you know, so yeah, I've had my shit together. I've been getting stuff done that needs to be gotten done. I've been working. But yeah, I did have a tough crisis moment on Tuesday where I think it was just a combination of the like financial stresses and all of the emotional stresses, because when I have emotional stress, I forget to tally that. Like, that takes up energy. Let's write that down so that when I'm tired at the end of the day, I don't go, why? You know, I'm like, oh, processing emotions. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, like I always forget that emotions and drama take up just as much energy or more as like massaging people for 3 hours or going to hot power yoga and then weightlifting after that, because that was a great idea on Tuesday.
Wow, so ambitious.
No, it's like, I'm already here and I'm already sweaty. I guess I may as well. Like,
wait, my brain has been confusing things lately. So was it powerlifting or power yoga?
Oh, it was power yoga, then weightlifting.
What the heck is power yoga?
Well,
tell a sedentary friend. Explain to me.
Okay, my experience of it, not the proper definition, but my experience of it is that because it's hot power yoga, so the room is 100 degrees and it's not so much about the flow as it is like getting into a position, sinking into it, and once we're warmed up, because it's already freaking hot in there, so like after the first like 10 minutes of doing really slow poses, and then we just go into like constant movement, constant balancing, and I guess that's where the power comes in, because it's constant balancing, constant movement, and like whenever we're done with one pose, we shavasana. You know, we're like down dog, up dog, plank. You know,
so
like
it's Bikram, but they don't call it Bikram anymore because he's a sexual predator.
Correct. So that's probably exactly what it is. Yeah, but it's fun. And I did crow pose for like 3 seconds.
Nice.
No,
I remember when I started doing that type of yoga that was called Bikram yoga, and I was so proud of myself for being so flexible. That was before I knew about the connective tissue disorder and that I just am.
You're like, oh, I have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. Okay.
Zombie. Yeah. It's not like every yoga teacher has always been like, wow, you're very aware of your body and you're very flexible. Good job getting to that position. I mean, I feel like the universe owed me that though, since it took away my depth perception and my hand-eye coordination. So at least I can be athletic in yoga class.
I support that. entirely.
If yoga
Rosie
had,
and I are kind of flexible too, so
yeah.
and
If yoga had teams, I would be picked first for a yoga team. So, that makes up for all the times I was picked last for every other fucking team. Gym class needs to be banned.
same. And Sammy feels the same too. Sammy wants nothing to do with gym class. He just keeps his headphones on and just sits there like, are we done?
Defund the gym teachers.
Defund the gym. They're nice too, but like
They are. They're nice.
Every
single gym teacher I ever had thought, oh, no one's taught her how to throw and catch a ball before. I'll be the one to change her life. I'll teach her to throw and catch a ball. 3-4 months later, gym teacher is being dragged away in a straitjacket with tears rolling down their face. Yeah.
Girl, if they had roller derby in high school, I would have nailed that. And I would have had so many more broken bones today than I do now.
This is why in 12th grade, I took walking for wellness.
I remember when you did that and you were so smugly pleased with yourself, and I was impressed.
I had gym class first period every year of high school, number one. So I never had a good hair day all of high school. Even if I woke up enough to make myself look pretty, then I had to go change into a gym uniform first period and get sweaty and gross and nasty. And you can't come back from sweaty, gross, and nasty with curly hair. You just can't. Even if you reapply makeup or whatever, you can't. So walking for wellness, I felt like I deserved it. I deserved to walk away from where the gym teacher could see us to the little theater and smoke cigarettes with Maria and I think Christine Edwards, and then just make sure we made it to the track by the time the teacher said we had to be there, and then head back to the school and start my day.
Yeah. That little stage in the woods, I don't know. I don't know how many times I ate lunch there and or just cut class there. Was I smoking? Was I drinking? Was I having wild, rampant sex? No, I was writing poetry.
Correct.
I have to rebel in my own weird way.
However, I did smoke during walking.
Well, yeah, but you were just smoking.
Yeah.
Honestly,
and if my parents hadn't gotten divorced, I would have been just like you. I would have just sat there and watched Christine Edwards smoke and not done it myself. So I still would have been afraid of cigarettes. I probably wouldn't have even hung out with Christine Edwards. I would have been afraid of her.
You're the one that pressured me into having a cigarette.
I know.
The one time I've had a smoke from a cigarette, that was you.
Wow. Talk about peer pressure. I'm so sorry. If I could take the damage, we weren't even in high school anymore. If I could take the damage that I did to your lungs and apply it to my lungs, I would. Would that I could.
We were in the smoking section at Chi-Chi's where I worked, and you were like, "Come on, try it. You feel good."
Sorry. What did I say? I talked over you.
I don't know what you said. I said we were in the smoking section at Chi-Chi's, and you were like, "Just try it," and I was like, "Oh, fine." So I tried it, and I was like, and you're like, "Doesn't it make you feel cool?" And I'm like, "It makes me feel slightly nauseous, and now my mouth tastes like an ashtray. Thanks." And you're like, "Well, not everyone can appreciate it." Insert Becca giggle. I was like, all right. Like, you want some fried ice cream? Yes. Okay.
I guess in the 80s we thought that the smoke would understand that it had to stay in the smoking section of the restaurant and not float over to the non-smoking section.
Isn't that
cute? How that worked? Yeah.
Yeah, the smoke would just understand.
Don't go in the lungs of the people on the other side of the room, please. They don't.
Right, because they don't want you. Yeah. They don't want you. But we do. Stay here with us. Smoking sections.
It blows my children's
Can you believe it?
When they see old movies and old TV shows and they see people just smoking anywhere they want, in Twins, with Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger, the two girls are in the grocery store shopping for food for the road trip that they're going to take with the two guys, and they're smoking in the grocery store as they walk down the aisles. Yeah.
I can't even wrap my head around that.
Right? Are they just flicking their ashes on the floor and that was okay?
What are they doing with the ashes? What? Where are you? That makes a mess, yo.
And it must have been normal because it's not like I remember that from my childhood. I remember that from just watching it a couple years ago with Sam.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
Man, I haven't seen it in ages. I just remember thinking it was kind of risque.
one of the coolest things about my son Sam is that he's obsessed with the 80s and the 90s. So I get to relive every part of my childhood with him.
I wish one of my children would do that. Isaac is disappointed that he missed out on things like SpongeBob SquarePants because there are lots of references to it in memes nowadays, and I didn't turn it on for him because it looked like garbage to me. So I was like, I don't want that
Same,
on.
same. I told my kids you're
And
too smart for
yet
that
we
show.
watched all of Thomas the Tank Engine. So I have no taste. Listen, Thomas the Tank Engine.
George Carlin, Alec Baldwin, who is your Mr. Conductor?
Ringo Starr.
OG Mr. Conductor. Nice.
OG Mr. Conductor. You know, it's just, oh, Thomas, always getting in trouble.
Oh, it's awesome.
You remember, I don't know if you knew or not, but I was kind of like obsessed with the Beatles when I was
remember.
like middle school. Yeah, I was like, I'm done with New Kids on the Block. Bring me the Beatles. And my mom was like, I was too young to be in the Beatles. I'm like,
awesome.
When does that ever stop me from being weird about something? I rebel by listening to the Beatles and big band swing music.
Oh my God, I love big band swing
Me
music.
too. Remember when Swing Kids came out?
Mm-hmm.
Robert Sean Leonard. Oh.
I was only brave enough to go swing dancing once when swing dancing was cool. I wish it got cool again, because now I would just go every night of the week and not even care if I knew how to do it. I just throw myself around the dance floor.
Well, there's actually so I'm sure they have it at various colleges, but the college local to me has a swing club, and one of my girlfriends my age
Are you
goes there
sure
all the time.
It's a swing club is what you're thinking of? Oh, okay. Because here it means something different.
Not a swingers club, darling. A swing club. Swing dance club.
I just noticed that we've been bullshitting for like 30 minutes.
Have.
So I think we should get to today's topic / guest.
Let's get to the topic / guest, shall we?
Yes. This might have been better saved for November, but we have an urgent need to discuss it today because it is affecting our dear producer / editor. Today we are going to speak about the Department of Veterans Affairs. And in preparation for this podcast, I did zero research except for like Googling really quickly in between things this morning and taking some screenshots. So everyone knows the Veterans Affairs, the Department of Veterans Affairs is notoriously underwhelming.
Okay.
That's kinder. So I just want to start this off with saying that when I Googled the Veterans Affairs and I clicked on the actual website, there's a banner across the top that says an official website of the United States government with a flag, and it looks really like super suspect. I don't know if you can see that. I'm holding it up to the camera.
A little bit, yeah.
It looks like, oh, this is obviously a fake website, right? But no, their website is so bad they had to put that banner across the top so you know that you actually found their official website. Because I work for a department of, and we do not have a banner like that at the top of our website. You don't need to know, you know, when you get to our website that it's an official US website.
Sounds like they need a graphic designer.
And then I went and tried to just find some information on this website, just some quick, fast facts and figures. And under every single topic that I wanted numbers on was a PDF. Like, it is underwhelming, very underwhelming. So I instead read a CNN article. I looked at a website called the Center for American Progress, and I listened to a couple NPR news reports, all from a while ago. So my facts and figures are not very up to date. They don't come from the Veterans Health Administration website, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. I was the one thing I wanted to find out was how many veterans are there and how many healthcare facilities are there for these veterans. And it turns out that there's and so there's 1600, and this is from the Center for American Progress, because CNN had a different number, but this one was closer to things I was seeing on the actual official US government website, so I'm going with this one. There were 16,000 healthcare facilities, whatever that means, 144 medical centers, whatever that means, and 1,232 outpatient sites of varying complexity. Okay. And so
In
these
the country?
in the country, that's it. And it might sound like a big number to you,
No.
but okay, right. Because right now there are anywhere between 13.5 to 9 million veterans who need services. So that is anywhere between 3,000, like if all of those healthcare facilities were the same thing, which they are not, but let's just pretend to make the math easy, they all offer all of the medical services that veterans need, right? Let's just pretend. So if they did, that means that there are healthcare facilities, one healthcare facility for every 3,000 to 10,000 veterans. Each healthcare facility has to service 3,000 to 10,000 patients. When you go to a doctor's office, Kate, are you like assuming that your doctor is treating 3,000 to 10,000 other patients?
I would knock a zero off, at least.
I mean, I assume like maybe 100, maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know. We
maybe.
have a lot
That's
of
a lot.
doctor's
It seems like,
offices
I
here.
don't know, but it seems
Yeah,
like a lot.
not thousands of patients. No, not
No.
one facility for multiple thousands of patients. And then I found out that this doesn't even cover mental health care. Mental health care is a
What?
completely different, right there. It's a completely different system, and it's even worse. And that's why I would
That's what
like
they
to
need
invite.
most. Oh.
Yeah, exactly. So because even the double amputees and the veterans with COVID, like whatever type of veteran you are, yeah, we need to give. I feel I believe I'm not a veteran myself. I'm just a big sister of a veteran, but I believe no matter what type of veteran you
Oh,
are.
so am I. Anyway.
Yeah. So I would like to invite Frank back onto our show to tell us a story of what happened to him yesterday. And if anyone is watching this or listening to this, make it go viral so that maybe it gets on NPR or something and the Veterans Department gets shamed into helping my little brother who deserves everything that the world has to offer. Frank, feel free to join us. Or edit this part because you forgot that you were going to come on and talk, or we talked so long that you tuned out and went to the bathroom. There he is.
Oh, there he is.
Hi, Frank. Hey. So, did you have your shit together this week? And if not, was it because of the Veterans Administration?
My shit isn't so much together, but I I don't know. I'm not sure how much finger pointing I should do. Um, the the Kansas VA does not offer weekly therapy sessions currently for veterans. So
The entire state of Kansas does not have weekly therapy sessions for veterans. I just want to underscore that. The entire state.
yeah, I mean, I'm dealing with Wichita. I'm not sure what they have going on in Topeka.
Oh yeah,
Um,
I'm not trying to like cross-examine you. I'm just underscoring
yeah,
that for people
yeah,
who are
no, you're good.
listening.
Um, Wichita is the main VA I deal with. I've dealt with the Kansas City one, but I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm just kind of spoiled from going to New Jersey because New Jersey is such a great VA. Um, even though while I was out there, we did the Operation Lion's Heart to get things reopened. We did get things reopened, and from what I've heard from the guys that are out there now, things are really, really back to normal. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so, um,
Mm-hmm.
so I don't know. Yeah. um, it's like this. When I was in New Jersey, they tried to set me up so that I wouldn't have any kind of break in between going from New Jersey back to Kansas, and that they lined me up with a guy, and then I don't know, he had something to do, and so I came back and he wasn't around, and then um, since I've been back, I have seen him a few times, but I don't know.
Not
There's
weak.
a saying in the military called "Oh, he already dropped his pack," meaning when somebody's about to EAS, when they're about to get out of the military, um, in the months leading up to that, they might stop cutting their hair so short, they might stop training so hard, and you might be
They're
like,
already
hey,
checked out.
yeah, they're like checked out. Hey, what the hell? What's with Tucker? Oh, he's already dropped his pack. Oh, yeah, that's
Mm,
right. EAS is in 5 months or something. So, um,
mm-hmm.
this guy that I'm dealing with in Wichita, I feel like he's already dropped his pack, and I think that, I mean, I don't know. I'm just a guy, but my opinion is that if you work in that field, you should keep your pack on until the very last day,
Absolutely.
And when you're dealing with veterans' lives, human beings' lives, any kind of therapist, whether it's a veteran or not, if you're a fucking therapist and you've signed on to that job, then you should take it seriously. I had an experience in 2012 back in Baltimore with a guy named Ansel, who was a social worker similar thing. He was getting ready to leave the VA, and he would literally just, I mean, he would actually in group he would talk about how he's going to, like, I don't know, he was getting ready to retire. He was going somewhere in the Caribbean or something, and he would, like, he would, like, spend the group talking about that. Guys would come in. Sometimes guys need to be led a little bit onto a topic, and he wouldn't lead us onto a
Mm-hmm.
topic. There was a day where I did throw a piece of pizza across the room, and I was not I was not invited back to the Dundalk Vet Center after that. But,
Hey,
It
it
lighten
could have
things
been
up for everybody.
a chair.
right, it could
Could
have
have been
been
a
a
can of
chair.
beer.
I didn't throw it at a person. I just threw it. I was expressing my frustration, but
I think you showed great restraint.
yeah.
You could
So
have thrown it at his face, which would have been funnier and produced the same results.
right, it would
Pizza
have looked
burns.
it would have looked great splattered across his face. Um,
Right? Like you'd still be kicked out, but you'd have the satisfaction of seeing pizza on his face.
so
I'm a bad
yesterday,
influence. Don't listen to me.
yesterday I had my appointment with the psychiatrist who, to his credit, he's a great guy. I've always had very good luck for some reason with the VA, with the psychiatrist, the med management folk. Um, there was a guy back in Maryland that I dealt with for several years named Dr. Diora Johnson, and he was awesome. I mean, the guy could have just come in and said, "What's your symptoms? Okay, here's the meds, goodbye." Instead, he actually engaged with me in talk therapy. This guy in um, this guy in Wichita, same kind of thing. He actually, like, talks to me. He actually asked about you, Becky. He said, "How's your sister
Oh,
doing? Are you still doing the
Aw.
podcast?" So, because I had mentioned it in the past, and I think he sees it as a good thing for me to. It's a way of keeping in touch with family, the podcast. So, um,
that's cool that he remembers personal details like that. I mean, sometimes a therapist doesn't even like listen hard enough or look at their notes before you walk in the room, and you have to re-explain things to them every time.
yes, yes, a lot of times that is the case. But yeah, he does. He remembers details, and you know, he gives me his time. So, unfortunately, though, yesterday when I brought up the issue with him, he did kind of go. He did respond in the way that we were initially getting responses in New Jersey when I was bringing up issues there, which is they kind of just say, "Oh, this is just the way it is." Oh, that's just that's just how it is that's the situation on the ground right now. There's so many, you know, veterans, and there's not enough therapists and all this stuff, and that's what that's when I guess I lost my temper with him because A, I know all that. B, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
You know, like there's $20 trillion for bombs and bullets, but when it's time for the healing, apparently there's no money, you know, and the army has like, I don't know if this is current, but as of last spring, the army had like a $60,000 sign-on bonus. You know what I mean, for anybody who wanted to go kill. But
I
um,
bet you wanted to tell them, if you accept that sign-on bonus, keep it for when you get back, because you're going to need to pay for your own therapy.
right. Well, why? How about this? Take that sign-on bonus money away from the army and give it to the VA for sign-on
Mhm.
bonuses
What?
or for social workers, therapists, whatever. So it's it's a frustrating situation. I don't want to just like complain too much, but I did yesterday tell my psychiatrist that I am going to boycott my meds until I can get weekly therapy sessions. I don't think weekly therapy sessions is that um, huge of a demand. Um, and somebody might say, well, that's absolutely the worst. Like if you're already not getting therapy, you definitely want to stay on your meds. But like that might be the last thing you want to do if you're not getting therapy is stop your meds. But
Unless your meds are awful and making you need more therapy,
right. Well, it's
right?
like
Because
it's like
people are like, meds fix everything. No, meds often fuck a whole lot of things up too. So until you're on the right thing.
right, exactly. Meds are a piece of the therapy pie, you know.
Yes.
There's meds, there's talk therapy, there's group therapy, there's sleep, good exercise, diet. These are all things that are part of it. Um,
Rest.
Rest, yeah. Um, and the VA has no problem getting the drugs to the veterans, but they can't get the
Mm,
therapy to the veterans. So if in this country we had instead of a pharmaceutical uh, industry, right?
lobby.
If we could just get our
Mhm.
therapy industry as big as the pharmaceutical industry, maybe we'd be able to get the therapy to the veterans as well as we get to the as well as we get the medicine to the veterans. So, um,
I always thought it would be fun to be a lobbyist, but I didn't ever have that it just, I would feel slimy like being a lobbyist for like big pharma. Maybe I should become a lobbyist for therapy. And I should go just lobby in DC for, you need to put more money into mental health as far as therapy, mental health, and you need to do it for the VA, and then start my own lobbying firm just for that. But I guess the problem with that is I'd always be a poor lobbyist, because I doubt there's like a big conglomerate of social workers that could pay me a lot of money to do that for them.
That's
well,
the thing. The things we really actually need, we don't have money for.
it doesn't make any sense
Yeah.
though that we have these big industries in our country that like the prison industry, the war industry, the pharmaceutical industry, and they're so profitable that everyone recognizes now that we have these industries and it's almost like we can't get ourselves off of them to
Mm-hmm.
the point where we make up problems for them to solve. But it's like at the end of the day, it's just people in factories doing labor. It's just resources coming out of the ground, getting handled by people, packaged, and then shipped out somewhere. Like, there's no reason why healthcare, education, and like mental health and wellness can't be as profitable. Like, I know it sounds so silly to say, like it's just as simple as like just switch the people over here. Just take, you have this factory over here and you have this factory over here. This is the mental health factory. This is the war factory. Just take those people and just put them over here and have them work on that assembly line. But it's
Move
like,
it around.
Yeah, and that's kind of defund the police can be triggering for some people, because they think you're saying, don't give the police any money, we don't want a police force anymore. What we're actually saying is, take the money that you gave the police after September 11th for all that body armor and weapons of war and mass destruction, and put it into healthcare, put it into community programs for at-risk youth, put it into healthcare, put it into things that people need to keep them from needing to call the police.
Right.
And so that's kind of what you're saying is like defund war and fund healthcare and well-being and community resources and care for the veterans. It's not like you know, give zero money to something else, but take the money and spend it more wisely. Spend it in ways that are preventative and holistic rather than reactive and damage control.
Right. Right. We have yeah. It's like Gary.
And I'm sure that there's people who think that that's naive and that because of human nature, we will always need armies and police more than we will need healthcare and mental health care and community programs. But I don't believe that. I don't believe that. And you know, like since I became a parent, my line of thinking was you raise better children, you make a better world. And that's where you start. If you want to change society, you change the kids. And it's a huge difference in my kids. Like I can prove that it works. People look at my kids and they say, how come they're such good friends and they get along so well? My kids hate each other. And I say, because I did it differently. You can make a difference in the world. Like we could have a world without sibling rivalry if everyone read the book Siblings Without Rivalry. And everyone would be really good friends with their siblings. And that would be a big change in the world. So it's not like prove it. Prove that it wouldn't work. Prove that spending money on mental health won't make the world a better place. Prove it to me, because I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it that it's more important to spend money on guns and bombs.
I mean,
so, sorry, off my soapbox. Your turn, Frank.
You're good. The issue of like healthcare and education came up one time when I was talking to John, and he was talking about like conservatives being so opposed to the idea of free healthcare and free education. He said, if you have a society, those are like two of the most important things. Think about if you had a society, do you want a dumb, sick population, or do you want a healthy, educated population? If you can keep the population healthy and educated, everything else in a way will take care of itself. Like even population, one of the big things everybody freaks out about, population growth. Oh God, there's so many people on the planet. They've found that one of the best ways to control population is to do a thing we should do anyways, which is get education to young women. The higher a woman's education, the less children she has, is the correlation that they found across the planet. So
absolutely.
So
absolutely.
I don't mean to be conspiracy theoristy, but when big pharma is funding a lot of government stuff, it pays big pharma for us to continue to be sick instead of being preventative with health.
Absolutely.
You know, be reactive with health.
That's one of the problems is we've dug ourselves into this hole where it's better for our politicians if we are dumb and sick.
But on the upside, all of these politicians are, I don't mean to be mean, but like they're dying out. The generation that caused all of this, and they did it with the best knowledge they had, maybe, or with their pockets, whatever. The point is, it doesn't matter because they're getting old and they're dying out, and the generations that do know what the fuck's going on are stepping in. And I know it's slow and it's horrible, but change is happening. It's not
to sound
slow,
like,
and we need to light a fire on
not to sound like a 65-year-old you know, crotchety old grumpy person, but without campaign reform, it's just going to continue. Even the most idealistic politicians, they have to pay for their campaigns to get elected, and if they don't do what the old politicians are doing, they can't run the campaign that will get them elected. And I just think that even the most well-meaning people, when they get into politics, if they have to play that game, that campaigning game where you need the money and then you owe favors to the people who gave you the money, it's like a trap. I think going into politics is a trap. Although I did have someone I worked with, she told me, get into local politics, forget the rest of it, get into local politics. You know, work on a campaign for your local councilman, work for your mayor, This is where you can make a difference in your community, and campaign, finances aren't crazy there. They're running small campaigns anyway, so they don't have big pharma in their pocket, so they can remain idealistic and do things that are good for the community. So I guess that's one thing we could focus on, that good things could be coming to us locally. But now our guest is on the phone, so I was trying to like drag that out longer, but I've run out of things to say about
That's
that.
okay.
Oh, there he is.
I have to I
Sorry
have to
about
excuse
that.
myself for a moment anyway. So
That was the VA calling to schedule my next psychiatric appointment.
Oh wow, what did you say to them?
Oh, no, I mean, I scheduled it.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah. That was the thing yesterday at the end of the phone call. He's like, "Okay, so when should I see you? When should we see each other again?" I was like, "It doesn't really matter at this point, you know." He's like, "Well, but let's still, we'll keep in touch." He did say at the end of the call, he said he was going to go down in personally, like in person, not just through an
Mhm.
email or something, talk to Dr. Joshua Gilbertson, who is the head of therapy at the Wichita VA. He did also pull up information and gave me the name of the chief of staff, Dr. Gadsden, and then
How do you spell Gatson?
Gadsden.
Okay, so anyone out there listening or watching, you go ahead and tweet at that person, that chief of staff, Dr. Gabson.
Yeah, and then
Gab,
I
like,
asked who's
talking.
Gadsden's boss, and he was like, "Oh, well, that's the top." I was like, "Everybody has a boss. Who's that person's boss?" And he was like, "Oh, well." And then he pulled up Dr. Candace Ifabiwi. I don't know. Ifabiwi. Ifabiwi.
So
Dr.
if you have ever said thank you for your service to a veteran, now is your time to put your money where your mouth is and go ahead and contact these doctors and anyone else you think can help, and let them know they need to get their shit together.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
if
ring their
you have
phones.
social media savvy and you know how to find these people on Twitter, go and tweet at them, if
It's
that's
funny
how Twitter
because
works.
New Jersey was such a success. New Jersey Operation Lionheart was a ball, man. Like I lost my temper in that one group that day. It was an online virtual group like this. We're all in our rooms in the unit, and I'm, talking, and Dr. Warner's there, and I was like, I'm sick of this shit. This is bullshit. We have like 14 hours of programming in a week. This is ridiculous, all this stuff. And guys came to my room afterwards when class ended. Guys started knocking on my door saying, "Oh man, you're right, but that's how I feel." I was like, "Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm kind of crazy about this. If I'm just being too extreme." They're like, "No, you're right. We should. It's not cool the way they're just playing out this COVID bullshit as an excuse to not give us proper programming." So, but it was cool because there was a team, like
Mm-hmm.
what can I do? Well, your dad knows a congressman, call the congressman. What do? You're good with social media, get on Twitter, and within 2 weeks we had a walkthrough from the director of New Jersey's VA on our unit, and um, a month later we had units closing down. Like literally they shut down the geriatric psych unit. Like the director of just therapy came to the Lions, New Jersey VA and walked through our unit. And then like bigger people from the VA came through and they did an entire walkthrough of the entire Lions, New Jersey campus. And they shut down geriatric psych. They shut down the acute psych unit on Lions. They moved it over to East Orange. And I started to get nervous because I was like, I actually put in the petition, the last thing we want is for people to get fired and for things to get shut down. We just want a restoration of what this awesome place used to be.
Right.
So people started telling me like, "Hey, they just closed this and this," and I was like, "Oh crap!" But it was just reorganizing things. The services are still available, but I don't know. Mom said that like a lot of hospitals are kind of going through a reorganizing of resources at this point after COVID. It kind of shook things
Mm-hmm.
up. So, but things are great. We filled the position of a recreational therapist. We got the gym reopened. We got the substance abuse program reopened. We got um, a whole bunch more classes. Just basically a lot of really cool things came out of that. So now I'm back in Kansas, and unfortunately, it's just me with my little problem. It's
Right.
not like, the Lions guys and all of us doing it together. So that's what led me to the idea of I'm going to boycott my meds, because I was thinking if I just sit here in my little house all by myself saying I want more therapy, they'll just be like, yeah, 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 we don't have it. Get in line.
So you're not being spiteful. You're not trying to take poison and expect it to kill someone else. You're literally like, what else can I do? What can I do to make them take me seriously?
Right. It's the only kind of bargaining
So
chip I could think of.
could you call your Lions team back together to help you and just form like a nonprofit of veteran advocates that advocate for each other and get shit done when they're suffering? Or is that like something that's too hard to do right now because you don't have the mental health care support you need?
Kind of towards the
And
end.
and you should not have to do this.
Well, that's the
You should
thing.
not have to do this. Let's be clear. This shouldn't be on you to advocate for what you need. It should be given to you freely. You should be offered more than you need. You should be turning down services. I'm not saying it should be on you to fight for your own life right now,
No,
but
you're
if you
right.
had to,
You're right.
do you
Yeah,
think your
no.
guys would help you out again?
I don't know. You're right. I have a resentment against the fact that I'm having to do this. I've been reaching
Mhm.
out to Ron Estes' office. He's the congressman out here that you're supposed to, call your congressman, Ron Estes, and been playing phone tag with his guy about this.
No phone call. No phone call. You need to put it in writing and you need to send it in writing to him. There's something called congressionals, and I know this because I just answered one for the department that I work for last week. And when you put it in writing and send it to your congressman, and I can write it for you if you want, because I've answered a lot of them, so I know how to write them so that they get instant results. When you write it, it goes to your congressman. Your congressman sends it to the department, and the department has 3 days to answer the congressman about why the problem exists and how it's going to be fixed. And
Oh.
they have to follow up with the congressman to prove that they fixed it. Yes. And we might be the executive department, like Biden might be our boss, but Congress signs our paychecks. Like Congress can withdraw funding whenever they want. So when a congressman comes to us and says, why is my constituent upset about this? We answer right away. We answer those correspondences faster than anything else in my department.
Okay.
And I believe all departments handle it the same way.
Okay.
So
That's really encouraging.
yeah,
Beck. That's really good news to hear.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know. I mean, I've never seen a congressional that I felt like was worthy. Like, the congressional I answered last week was, we had an advisory rulemaking committee, which is where we gather a bunch of stakeholders from outside of our department and let them get together and give us some advice on how they think we should make the next rule. And we take it or leave it because we're a safety agency and safety comes first. You can tell us we want to do X, Y, Z. If we don't think it's safe, we're not going to do it. So we had one recommendation in this report that doesn't make sense for some other stakeholders that we service. And those stakeholders, I don't think they understand that an advisory rulemaking committee is not the committee that's writing the rule. They just are telling us what they'd like to see. So this congressional last week was, we are really scared what's going to happen if the agency follows the advice of if the agency makes it official, makes the report official, the advisory rulemaking committee report. If they make it official and that's the rule, it's going to be so dangerous. And we had a commenting period, and we'd already gotten that comment from this association. It's an association of stakeholders. It's an organized thing. But that wasn't enough for them. They also wrote to the congressman. And I just wanted my response to be sort of like, calm down. You don't have to write your congressman. We haven't even started the rulemaking process yet. You're okay. like calm down. It's not like a veteran not getting the services that he needs. Like that is a congressional that needs to be written. So, okay. The end. Love Becca.
Love Becca.
I love the end. Love Becca. Love.
That's cool.
I feel like disdainfully yours.
I might take you up on your offer to help with that.
Yeah. So the last thing I wanted to ask you though was, I know with medical care, you can go outside of the VA, right? Like if there's too long of a waiting list to see a doctor, you can go see an out of VA network doctor and the VA pays for it, right?
Yes. So he said he
But
said
that's not
only
the case
will.
with mental health.
No, that is the case with mental health, which is,
Okay.
I guess
Okay.
I forgot to mention the most important thing of the conversation, which is he said, I am going to put in for you to, for you to get a community care consult, which means,
Oh, so it's more
so,
bureaucracy and it takes time and the wheels of
yeah,
the
he said,
government
I'll put
spin
in for you to
slowly.
be
And it's
seen.
not like you can just come to them and say, I found a therapist. I'm going to this therapist, reimburse me. It's not like you can do that. You have to wait until they go through all their bureaucracy and make it happen for you.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
Two, every, I've not met a single mental health provider in the state of Kansas that did not suck major donkey fucking dick. Okay?
Oh,
Fuck
and
Kansas.
you have to go to
Fuck
one in
everyone that's
Kansas. You
in
can't go
Kansas.
to like,
Fuck the entire VA in
mhm.
Kansas. Fuck every went into the field of social work or fucking therapy in fucking Kansas. I've had the absolute worst fucking experience with every form of mental health provider in this state. So
That really
so
blows,
one,
Frank.
they say we'll set you up with community care and we'll get you seen weekly with somebody out there. And of course I think, oh great, everything's gonna be fine now. But no, it's, oh great, now they're gonna toss me back out to these idiots who were the bottom of their class, and that's why they're working in a clinic in Winfield, Kansas. You know,
Okay. Okay.
um,
Okay. Yeah.
number two, I should not have to be referred out.
Absolutely not. Absolutely
We
not. You
when
should
we want to blow
not
up
have to be referred
brown
out.
people in the Middle East, we don't say, "Oh, we don't have enough Marines to blow up those brown people in the Middle East." We'll refer out to some mercenaries over here. No, we do
Mhm.
sign on bonuses. We get the machine rolling. We go
Right.
ahead, gas it up, and we get as many murderers as we need to do the job in the United States
Right.
military. So, um,
Absolutely. Absolutely. 100% behind you on this. I'm just trying to ask the questions that if this goes viral, other people are going to ask. And I just want to answer it already if we get any
yeah, no, it's all
commenters.
right. It's not going to go viral. You know, it's just us hanging out talking. But
You hear that, Manny? You hear that? Make it go viral. Get Ray. Make it go viral.
we need to have Manny back on this
Get the
podcast.
gays in on it.
Manny would be
Yeah.
a much better podcast than me bitching about my VA stuff.
No way. No way.
Yeah, because that's because Beck and I never sit around bitching about things.
No, I'm just
No.
saying Manny's
And
one of the best
Manny.
guests we've had. I'd like to see him again.
All right. All right. Maybe we'll have him on next week to speak about his experience with the VA and his, maybe we'll have his significant other on and his experience with the VA, and maybe we'll just keep talking about this.
They're both former
In
military.
preparation. Yeah, they're both, yeah, a lot of people who work for the federal government are former military.
Wow.
If you are lucky enough to come home, well, Ray certainly struggles with a lot of the same mental health issues that Frank does. When Ray first met me, Sam was like 9 or 10, and when Ray left my house with Manny, he said, I really like Becca, but I don't want to hang out with her kids anymore because Sam was so loud and like hyper and like jumpy, and it was really triggering Ray's PTSD in a really bad way. Like that's something that he like lives with. Like he just couldn't be around my loud, jumpy 9-year-old. And then, you know, once Sam hit high school, Ray and Sam became best of friends. It was all fixed then. They like Ray taught him how to cook, and yeah,
Really cool.
But yeah, maybe we should just focus on interviewing veterans between now and Veterans Day and see if we can really get the ball rolling on, like, you know, I don't
Maybe.
know, at least give a platform for people to talk and say this sucks, it's fucked up, it's not right, even if we're just whispering into the void.
Maybe we're just whispering to the void. Yeah, I think you
The
said
void
something
sometimes
earlier
responds.
about reuniting the group and trying to fix the problem. And there was a guy that I reached out to, an older gentleman in his 60s or 70s, a veteran in New Jersey, who did advocate for fixing problems in the VA when he was younger. And I think maybe there is something to that. I think obviously I need to like stabilize and make sure I'm good to go first, right? Like, I apologize for
Absolutely.
using the R word a minute ago. I don't like to use that word, but I'm
Hey,
very
you
frustrated
I
right
wasn't
now.
gonna call you on it.
no, you are clearly very, very frustrated right now, and you are feeling your feelings. And we know you are a good person, and you have autism, so you can reappropriate that word if you want to.
Right, I am. Yeah, so so I think that if I could stabilize that, it might be a good thing actually to try to do some type of veterans advocacy. If I can, do my Maslow's hierarchy of needs level one
Hmm.
squared away, then yes, I think it's good. Self care is advocating for yourself is self care. That's one of the things I learned in New Jersey when I talked to Dr. Downing, who at the end of the day, it's all her fault because she's such an amazing therapist. I think she's ruined me for any other therapist down the road. But I wasn't sure if she was gonna be mad. Here I am pulling all this attention on the VA, saying everything's screwed up. She was like, "No, that's self care. You're advocating for yourself. This is good what you're doing." So,
Oh,
and
awesome.
and working with veterans is obviously something that clicks kind of well. So, maybe take care of
All
getting
right,
the
cool,
situation
cool.
squared away, and then maybe do something for other
Well,
people.
I'm really glad that you came on and you told us what you're going through, that you shared this with us, and that you were able to like feel your feelings, and express them to us. And I will, when we get off this call, if I don't have 100 emails in my inbox, I will go ahead and pull up all the congressional inquiries I've ever gotten and pick the best ones, and craft a good email for you to send. And if anybody else is watching in Kansas, and you would like a copy of that template, let me know at whatever email Frank puts at the bottom of the screen right now, or we have in our show notes on our um, podcast platforms. Go ahead and, reach out to me through the Kate and Beck together at gmail.com email, and I'll send you a copy of that template, and let's get this done. Let's, even if it's just like our one listener and us, I know Manny reaches out to his Congress people all the time. So let's get this done, and let's keep the ball rolling with guests who are veterans, and let's keep talking about the veteran experience, because this is a problem that's been going on. Like when I looked at that one
Right.
article on CNN, they had a timeline of problems with the VA, and it's been since day one. It's been since day one. I didn't read what they all were, but it was like the VA was opened in this year, a long, 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 long time ago, before any of us were alive. And the first problem started later that year, and it was just listing all the problems by year. And yes, they got worse in the early 2000s, because they get worse whenever soldiers come home from war and need services, and that's not okay. That's when things should be getting better. When you have a war going on, you should start building up your VA services, because those veterans are about to come home and they're about to need those services. So it shouldn't be that every time there's a war the VA sucks harder. It should be every time there's a war we put more money into the VA and the services get better. So
I
I don't know.
agree.
We're
Well,
not gonna. I know there's probably not a chance that we can like change the entire VA, but maybe we can get Frank a therapist. Get Frank a therapist by Christmas or
I,
sooner.
I probably just need to leave the state is the thing. I need to go move to New Jersey and go apply for a peer support specialist position at Lions, and uh, I
That
can
actually sounds really good, Frank.
I
yeah.
know you're torn though. That's your heart in two places, right? That's going to the place that you need to be for you to be the best you can be, and staying in the place that you want to stay in for your family member that's in Kansas, that you want to be the best that you can be for that person. And
I'm not sure how much
that's
I'm
an
even
impossible
needed
choice.
in this. I'm not sure how much I'm needed in this state.
Well, the other thing too is that as family members get older, they need us less, and we
Plus,
have more freedom to do what we need for us.
I talked to Dad about it, and he said you're in the right place. And my experience with Dad's advice is that it's always the opposite. So I think I should leave because he told me to go see Ringo Starr, and
well,
that was a pretty bad
selfishly,
idea.
Well,
well, selfishly, I would like you to go back to New Jersey, because that's a trip that I can make in a heartbeat. Like that's a day trip. we could see each other all the freaking time.
Yeah, no,
Forget phone calls on Thursday nights. We could have lunch together every Saturday.
At Mom's party, JP walked past like a dozen people straight to me and gave me the first hug out of all the people at the party. Walked right up and gave me this big tight hug. And it's like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
JT is, he's growing up. Yeah, I could be there for him. I could be there for Ocean, like, so we'll see.
Emmett and Sam, even though they act like they don't need you, they talk about you all the time. You are the Uncle Michael of our generation.
Yeah, I don't know. I figured that Demon Dean had put some weird thoughts in their head or something because I wasn't quite a reception from them anymore.
No, absolutely not. Just adults get more awkward than kids. They just get awkward. They don't talk to me anymore either. Like,
gotcha.
I have to I find myself sounding like a stereotypical mother when I talk to them because, how was your day at work? Did you mean to get fired? Did you eat lunch? Do you have a day off tomorrow? Or don't you want to talk to me? Don't walk away. Don't you like me anymore? Like, seriously, that's my life now.
Cool. No, I love your kids, and I'm available for them in any way as well. I just wasn't sure, because they're getting bigger.
And River too, obviously, but I don't speak for River anymore. River is as of next Tuesday, River is a full-grown adult, not even on my health insurance anymore. So no more speaking for River.
Look at that.
They can speak for themselves. Yeah.
Frank.
Cool.
Frank.
Oh, go ahead, Kate.
Thanks. Really the best thing that you can do is what's going to be best to help you become the best person that you can be. And that's where you can make the most change for the most people, but most especially for yourself. Even if you were your own entity, you affect more people than you think. And you're not just a solitary entity. As Beck was just saying, there's so many people connected to you who are looking to you just in your family and your friends, let alone the veterans that you can help. But you can't help them when you're not getting the help that you need to be the best person that you can be. It's the most effective thing that you can do is to help yourself.
All right, but even if you move to New Jersey, we're still going to focus on veterans for the next couple of weeks. If nothing else, keep it in your head, Frank, that, even if you're not getting the support you need and the care you need, you have love and you have support from people out there. So until next week, keep your shit together.
Keep your shit together.